Hey guys, what is up? Ioki here, bringing you guys the very first coaching session of Season 12, aka Season 2022, but nobody calls it that. If you guys don't know who I am or it's your first time on the channel and you've somehow stumbled upon this coaching session, I am a multi-season, high-ranking support player that specializes in, obviously, playing the support role. So we're going to be looking at GQBD's Lux play today. He is a previously gold player last season. You know, the season just started, so he's currently silver 1, but he's going to climb up to gold very, very soon, and then he's going to ascend even further beyond with this coaching session. So before we get into the laning phase and stuff like that, I just want to talk a little bit about something called intent. So looking at your Lux page, the biggest issue that I see is I'm looking at your match history. It looks like you play a lot of Lux, a lot of Xerath. You've got a type, right? You like playing mages. The issue with playing Lux the way that you do is that you run the exact same rune page with very, very minor adjustments almost every single game. And one of the strongest strengths of Lux is the fact that she can run very, very comfortably 3, if not 4 rune pages consisting of Comet, Guardian, First Strike, and maybe Airy. I would forget about Airy for now, but basically you're looking at Comet, Guardian, First Strike, and you run Comet every single game. You run it whether you're into hard engaged champions, you run it whether you're into poke champions, you run it whether you're into like mid-range, you run it whether you're trying to scale, whether you have a hyper carry ADC, it doesn't matter, you're running Comet. And I would say that's a pretty big problem with a champion like Lux. You know, I play Leona, and obviously I go Aftershock every single game, but my champion isn't as versatile as yours. So it really feels like you're leaving a lot of the potential of this champion on the table by just running Comet every single game. For instance, I don't think you're going to have a lot of kill potential against Tristana and Soraka for a couple of reasons. One being you have Tristana, who's a very short range, get in their face, blow them up and get out kind of champion that is hard countered by one spell in the game. And that spell is Exhaust. So it's going to be really, really hard for you as a Lux Tristana lane, unless they just, you know, massively misplay, which could very well happen. It's going to be really hard for you to get any kills because of Exhaust. So yeah. I also noticed that you went E or Q start. I really would try to get into the habit as a champion like Lux, where there's going to be matchups where you want Q, and there's going to be matchups where you want E, to not level a skill until you get the laning phase. Like I said, bringing it back to me, I play Leona every single game, and in 99% of games, you're going to want to start Q on Leona. Pike, you know, 99% of games, you're going to want to start Q. So on those champions, it's kind of okay to level your ability. But like, for instance, I would have gone E start in this matchup. Your E start gives you a massive range advantage, even over like one of the highest ranged champions in the game. Yeah, E start. So this is really, really good. I love to see the, you know, in these coaching sessions, of course, I always talk about what you're doing right, so you can continue doing those things, and then what you're kind of doing wrong and what needs some improvement. I really, really like this. The, you know, proactivity, getting out on the map. You always do, this is the start that I always do, where I ward the bot try and then go and stand here. The only issue is that your ADC is kind of already standing there, so no need to actually ward it. Well, I guess she needs to stand in the bush to actually get vision, but yeah, you always want to, like, if you can, you want to be, you know, proactive and ward both entrances. Get vision of both entrances. So you ward here, stand over here, so you're blocking both entrances. I don't think they're going to actually invade. The only really strong invader that they have is like a Mumu, I guess. But good stuff, good stuff. Love to see it. What you can actually be doing right now is, since your ADC is actually helping you watch this entrance, you could be taking a reset right now and going back and getting red trinket, which is actually super good in bot lane, because it helps you like clear out wards here, keep bush control. You know, if you're standing here and they see you, it's a lot harder to hit your Q, right? But if you're queuing completely out of vision, they don't even see like a wind up animation because you've swept the bush. It's really, really good. So okay, so let's talk about our laning phase. Like I said, you shouldn't have any kill pressure, which is why I also recommend that you go either Exhaust would have been really, really good, since they have 3 champions that are just going in on you. And since I think that you will have so little kill potential against the Soraka Caitlyn, the Ignite is probably going to be a little bit wasted. Again, so game hasn't really even started yet, and we've already covered quite a few concepts about, you know, making sure you're being versatile through rune pages, thinking about intent, really analyzing your 2v2 matchup and stuff like that, your skill order. So let's get into the actual laning phase. Okay, nice poke, nice poke. It would have been even easier to land that poke with E. Yeah, see, like this is like them pivoting around the minion wave is what makes Q level 1 just so hard. All right, so let's talk about level 2 because you actually had the jump here. Because your abilities ironically hit some of the minions, you actually are going to get level 2 first. So I don't ever want to see you, if you're getting level 2 first, I don't ever want to see you playing like this. You need to be playing like this. You need to be walking up here, autoing them, making them scared of your level 2, right? Because you have Tristana. You actually do have like a really, really strong level 2. So if you had gotten up here or like started hitting the minions, done anything to make them second think hitting your minions to match your level 2, you would have won this really, really hard. But instead, you played really, really safe, despite them not having a strong level 2. They don't have a Leona. They don't have a Blitzcrank. They don't have a Thresh. You don't even need to be scared of their level 2, honestly. So let's watch through that again. So on the second wave, when the first 3 minions die, that's going to be your level 2. So this first full wave dies, right? You kill these melee minions, and you're going to get level 2, right? So there's for sure a world where if you were hitting these, or you're posturing up and like harassing them so that they couldn't hit them, you could have hit level 2 first, and you have a much better level 2. So I hate to see the afraid play there, man. Okay, nice poke. So this is pretty much just going to be the entire laning phase. Like neither one of you guys has a lot of kill pressure. You know, barring ganks or anything like that, this is pretty much just going to be like you trading poke off of cooldown. There really shouldn't be any kill pressure. You're really having to like finagle to look for those angles on Q, which is why I really would have recommended like a Guardian page. Like, because think about it, like Comet is only useful when it's really most useful when you're winning, right? It's most useful when you can like choke them out under turret and poke them out and, you know, supplement your poke and stuff like that. Guardian is useful whether you're ahead or behind, really, but it's most useful in just like stable lanes like this, because like think of how much like ADC health you could still have. You know what I mean? If they're popping Guardian every time they go to harass. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that with my camera. All right, so it looks like we actually are taking advantage of our level 3, this is what I like to see. So like start pushing up when you know you're about to hit level 3. That next minion gives it to you. So you don't want to ever be back here. You're getting level 3. It's just as important as the level 2 power spike in bot lane. The level 3 power spike works the exact same. So imagine if instead of back here when you hit level 3, you were up here or up here. You know, and they may respond to you walking up. They may back up, but that's good. That's a good thing. It's having presence in the lane. All right, so we did land a long range Q, but again, look at this. Look what happens when Tristana goes in. She just gets exhausted. So that was a great long range Q. You know, obviously, ideally you're landing these Qs on Soraka since she can't heal herself beyond using summon or heal. But Caitlyn was the one that we caught, the only viable target. But yeah, I mean, this is what happens. This is why this is such like a low kill pressure lane. Really happening. Our Tristana is getting super, super weak. And you're starting to run out of mana, so I would for sure just be conserving mana for like Qs and Ws. I wouldn't even be using Es right here. And this camera keeps unlocking. All right, and then also be thinking about like what the point of your spells are, because like, for instance, when you landed this Q back here, there was kill potential there. Or at least, you know, on paper there was. It could have been. And there's a world where it happened. But, like, there's no real world where, like, they step into this E. And there's no real world where, one, this next Q even lands. But even if it does, what happens? Nothing. Your Tristana's not going to follow up, right? So at this point, you're kind of, you need to be kind of stopping the bleeding rather than, like, looking for some play, right? Because, like, she's behind minions, so the Q's not going to land anyways. But even if it does, so what? Your Q does like what, like 80 damage, 110 damage, something like that. It's not going to result in anything, and all you've done is like make yourself more vulnerable because like now you're lower on mana, right? So the only thing you should be doing to with your spells right now is trimming the wave so that you like they don't set up like a dive. We're not super certain where Amumu is on the map right now. He's most likely topside. Let's take a look, actually. Yeah, he's topside, so you're probably not going to get dove, but like, you know, jungler's path weird sometimes. There's a world. But yeah, like, this is what we need to be looking at. We need to be thinking about the intent for our spell and the intent as like, what is your goal as a support right now? Your goal is to make sure your ADC doesn't die. Your goal right in this exact moment is not to set up a kill for your ADC. She's not looking for that, right? She's looking to stop the bleeding. She's looking to get under her turret, lick her wounds, have a health bar, not die, not get 400, go to the bot lane. And everything you do should be conducive to that. So you should be using your spells to trim the wave, to set up CS for your ADC, and to 100% make sure she doesn't eat this poke. So, you know, this is just a reaction speed thing, and that's fine. But, oh, you actually saved her there. Nice. Okay. So we are under our turret. We are getting the CS that we can. See, once again, like, the E is just kind of worthless because, like, okay, so Caitlyn has 80 less health right now. Now you have no mana to use your next W. You know, there's for sure a world where you died right there. All right, we should probably be taking... Now we've kind of lost track of where the jungler is. We haven't seen him pass through mid, and we're not going to see him pass through mid because we have no prio. So now there's for sure a world where you're like... You need to start thinking about, like, what happens if we get dove? So take this wave, and honestly, you could just leave this wave. Your ADC is, like, so weak that, like, you're not even getting most of the CS. Yeah, once again, man, like think about your intent with your spells. Like, what happened? What's the best case scenario? Okay, let's think about in terms of that. Let's think about the absolute best case scenario if you land this Q on Soraka, and the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you Q her, she for some reason hits you and takes turret aggro and dies under turret, right? Absolute best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you have now made it so that you are no longer focused on the intention of you being in lane with your ADC right now. You're not ready to cast your W, and your ADC dies here. So, I know as, like, hyper carry supports that like to lock in, like, Lux and Xerath and Brand and stuff like that, you're all about killing them, right? But unfortunately, League is just a game where it's balanced. Like, you're not always going to be able to kill them. Like, it's okay to, like, take a backseat and just, like, start playing utility and, like, cutting the losses. Also, it doesn't apply to this game right here, but I always want to talk about it in my coaching sessions. Get into the habit of pathing mid instead of pathing straight bot. I think that's one of the absolute best things you can do as a support. Maybe not in this exact game because, one, your mid laner is not there. Well, I mean, actually, you could be pathing mid and getting this XP. XP is a very, very valuable currency. But Lux isn't, like, one of the strongest roamers, but if you're playing anything other than, like, an enchanter or Lux, pathing mid is, like, almost always the absolute best thing to do. You can get in a war, or you can get in a gank, you can ward their side bush, you can clear their vision, you can catch this XP, you could you can do the world is your oyster when you path mid. And, like, to be honest, did she really even need you here? Like, what have you actually accomplished by pathing straight to bot? I guess you did ward your bot try, but yeah, just be thinking about, like, is this a game where I can path mid? And when you start thinking about things like that, you'll be much less likely and prone to autopiloting if you're thinking about, like, the actual intention and, like, the result of your actions, whether that be, you know, throwing a Q in lane, whether it be, like, how you're pathing from base and to what lane. Okay, so this gank is literally never going to work. I would bet $1,000 this gank just never works, so I would be pinging my jungler to kind of get away from here. The only way this works is if Soraka literally, like, steps up for some reason. Oh my god, Soraka's stepping up. Okay, so looks like we get Soraka's flash. Realistically, we should never get anything there because Soraka should be playing to the wave, but... You know, sometimes in low elo, it's about you know, capitalizing on the enemy's mistakes. So let's start thinking about intent right now. We've got bot prio if we shove this in. We're a little lower on health from our ADC than them, but we just got Soraka's flash. So Soraka, the next fight, Soraka is going to be way, way wearier, or should have to be way, way wearier of, you know, stepping up. So what I would be doing here is oh, we got a Mumu coming bot. All right. So we missed our Q. Okay, I want to finish that thought, though, because I do think you should be using your spells to shove this wave in. So using E on the wave here would be a really, really quick and easy way to get prio. And what prio means is that if something happens in the river, like a Mumu comes down it, or we start fighting the dragon and stuff like that, prio just means that your bot lane can react to that faster. Because if you shove this in and your wave is all the way up here hitting their turret, they can't just walk past that, right? They can't walk past it. They can take a long way around, but you have a direct path there, right? So before we even knew that a Mumu was down here, like, let's start thinking about, like, our next move. Like, let's start thinking about perhaps, like, doing a dragon or taking a skirmish in the river or stuff like that. Before you do any of that, you need to start thinking about, like, do you have prio and does mid have prio? Who can actually react to the fight? And you need to be thinking about that before the fight even occurs. So having prio is almost always a really, really good thing. So with champions like Lux, where you have an E that's really, really good, pretty good wave clear for a support, just drop the E on the wave. It'll shove from there, and then you can do whatever you want to do in the river. So it looks like none of that actually happened, though. I've got a Mumu down here. We've got a decent 3v3, especially if a Mumu face checks this, but we're not forcing anything. Good Q, actually. Good Q. This is a really good Q. You threw this Q with the intention of saving your ADC, right? That's good. It's good that you knew that. All right, so let's keep in mind that our ADC is like literally one shot with no heal. That was a good E2. Trim the wave. Got a little bit of poke in. We're looking for the angles with the Q. Finding it. All right, remember, our ADC cannot contribute to this at all. This is really, really hard and forced. And I know that you're not the one really controlling this right now. This is Viego. But at this point, we are fighting in a massive freaking wave. Our ADC is one auto attack's worth of health. We know a Mumu's here. This is pretty bad. So like I said, I know that wasn't necessarily your shot call, but you are kind of encouraging it by pathing forward. And you could have played it better, obviously, by, you know, not getting hit by a Kate trap. But a couple red pings here would do absolute wonders for you. You know, you cannot, you know, hack into Viego's computer and start playing for him and make him pull back. But you can communicate with him. And I'm not seeing any red pings coming out of you. So, you know, that makes me think that you're totally on board with it. All right. So here, it's going to get sloppy here. So at this point, we have, you know, baited each other into bad ganks, and Viego's overstayed. Now he's doing that thing that junglers do, where they're desperate because they've put so much time into this that now they need something to work. We've kind of just, you know, like I said, a couple red pings back here could have saved everything that is about to occur. But I'm pretty sure you guys are all about to die under turret. Let's find out. All right, so moments like this, having a barrier would be really, really good. Would it have saved you? Possibly. You know, this is just a direct result of you guys not having the foresight to like call off what is a bad gank. You know, I'm not going to get in like into the nitty gritty of like how we could have pathed, you know, slightly better there and survived. It is what it is. You got really low health and you got dove under a turret by an assassin. Happens. Let's see what we do from here, because now we're in a little bit of a pickle. They got the first dragon. They're winning fights. Their Fizz is super, super fed. Wish we had exhaust for that. All right, make sure that we are not just blindly pushing here, because we have no vision. So we're walking into the bush, so it's like we know that no one is here immediately, but like, we're being mighty ballsy for just having died to walk up and get these plates, I feel. There's for sure a world where a Mumu goes behind us here. Gets a free gank. So just be thinking about that worst case scenario. Just always have it running in the back of your head. Nice. I'm curious why we're not ulting that. I guess we were silenced, and then by the time we were unsilenced, we weren't confident in like landing it, I guess. Got Fizz down here again. Ooh, nice footwork, nice footwork. Oh my god, I gotta watch that again. I gotta watch that again. Actually, decent pings for the Malzahar. Good awareness, good awareness. You're the first to back up. You pull out the Fizz ult. Very nice footwork. I like it, I like it. All right, the Q could have been at a better angle, but it's all good. Nice, nice, nice. Really, really well played there, actually. All right, so we're kind of in that same scenario that we were before. Like, this feels very, very familiar. And let's talk about this before you die. Your intention here is not 1v2ing. You maybe if you're like 4-0, that there's a world where you do that. But your intention here should be feeding W's to the Tristana, trimming the wave, and trying not to get dove again, right? Your intention should not be looking for a Q here. I mean, you have to die here. Also, we're walking way, way, way too close. I don't know if this is just a mechanical error. But it's for sure an intention error. You shouldn't be looking for this. You just shouldn't. You should be looking to clear the wave off the turret. Make sure you don't get dove. I mean, let's look at your items. You have an Amp Tome and you have Frostfang. That's the only thing giving you damage capabilities here. So it is fine to like land this combo from full range. Just know that it's not going to kill unless it's possibly on Soraka. And even then, it's not going to kill. We don't need to be walking up here. Look, Tristana literally just cannot contribute. Like, I know this is one of those scenarios where it's like, it feels frustrating because she's not contributing, but it is not in her. It is not in her power to contribute in any way, shape, or form here. So by walking up and doing this with a super short ADC that is already like 10% HP, it's just an int. And that's frustrating, I know, but we need to be thinking about like what we should be doing and what our intent should be in that lane. All right, we got some early heal cut. It's not bad. All right, we just saw a Mumu top. We haven't seen Fizz yet. Okay, we've seen Fizz now. All right. So here's what you should be doing. You should be throwing an E on this wave to help shove it this way, and then going into their bot jungle and getting a ward like here, or if you're really feeling spicy, up here, because we know a Mumu's top and we see Fizz on the map. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to be not just standing in lane. Because does Tristana really need you here? Nope. She's got fast clear on her own. This is for sure an opportunity for you to walk into jungle because you need to be thinking about those two threats. Fizz, massive threat. Amumu, a threat just because he's Amumu. And he can hold you still while someone else kills you. But neither of those threats were able to collapse on you. And they're not like, for once in your life, you're not under your turret begging for, praying for your life. So you need to be taking those opportunities to be getting vision and getting information because in this game, information is power. If you get a deep ward and then a minute from now, Amumu shows on it, that lets top lane play super aggro, right? So yeah, like this is for sure like a tougher game. Hey, nice combo, nice catch. This is for sure a game where kind of everything's a little bit weighted against you. Some of that was in your control, some of that was not. But you need to find finding those little pockets of I could be doing something different here. Little pockets of opportunity that make the difference. Like, getting wards and finding their jungle is like one of the absolute best ways to stop the bleeding. Nice, I missed this. Wow, that Caitlyn is playing aggro. Oh my god, she went for the E flash. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, that was just like... Caitlyn just wanted to die there, didn't she? Alright, I like how you took the back. Nice reset timer. Tristana kind of overstayed, but it's fine. Now we should be walking mid, possibly setting up for the next dragon. Alright, someone just used Vision Cone, so we know someone's there. In moments like this, I actually like to just like throw an ability on the dragon. So because think about it this way. Which team is more likely to be doing the dragon right now? I would say the enemy teams is. So they're going to be setting up for dragon, possibly in this area that we can't see. I like to just start the dragon because what that will do is it'll put the enemy in a position where they either have to, you know, back way up and let the dragon de-aggro or just start it. And in both of those scenarios, you get information about the enemy team's intent. You know, if they drag it out and stall it and de-aggro the dragon, you know, that buys you a little bit more time for your team to get into position to be doing the dragon. And if they immediately start it, then you know, oh look, they're trying to do dragon. Can we contest this? So it's a little thing, but I like doing it. I like doing it for Baron too. Okay, so let's see what happened here. I want to say what you're doing here is getting vision in the river. This is not incorrect. So it looks like we're kind of like coming down to something that, you know, our jungler started. I don't think what you were doing here was incorrect. You should be getting vision in that river right now. Okay, so we literally just like missed everything. You know she did wrong. No reason in like coaching that. I do want to coach this flash though, because you usually don't ever want to be flashing just to create space. You want to be flashing. You see how you're flashing in a literal direct line. If he had thrown that just slightly differently at a different angle, you would still be getting hit by that. See what I mean? So you train yourself to be flashing. If you ever find yourself flashing purely to create distance instead of like actually flashing an ability or flashing at an angle to dodge something, you're probably doing something wrong. So don't ever flash just for pure distance. All right, so we see a Mumu on the dragon. Once again, we're just in a scenario where we're trying to stop the bleeding. We're at risk of getting dove. Yeah, I mean, we knew the risk. We knew he's here, and we know how fed he is. So it's like, at this point, we probably just they're not going to take the entire turret. Tier 2 turrets are pretty tough to take, so it's just like a backup and waited out angle. Excuse me, sorry. But this is for sure the game. This is the like one of the most bleedy games I've ever coached, and that's fine. I think that's a good thing, honestly, because not every single game is like a bare knuckle brawl. Sometimes there really are games where it's just like a little on the one-sided, and you just need to be thinking about like, what can I do to stop this bleeding? Yeah, I mean, obviously your teammates are not on the same page, but I think you removing the vision that you can and playing on the defensive side here is totally fine. I think if you went to that fight, you'd get slaughtered too. So again, make sure like it does actually seem like you've got a more level head on your shoulders than your teammates. So make sure you are communicating with your teammates. Pings. Use Pinglish. It is the most efficient language. It is the language of the gods. Yeah, I mean, like this is boring. I know this is a boring playstyle, like sitting under turrets and like waiting for them to mistake. make a mistake, but like this is really all you can be doing until you guys get some like picks going mid and like are able to reclaim some of this river vision, especially with the stupid new Kim Fog or Kim Fog. Oh, need to be a little more patient with the Qs. The Qs, man, if that Q had landed, that was the game changer right there. You know, we've been waiting for the moment where like you could have changed the game, and this was 100% it. Just know that like you have an unmissable suppression, right? He's going to push it eventually. Fizz is not going to literally one-shot him through his spell shield. So he is at some point he's going to use his suppression, and if you just waited for it, could have been a game changer right there. But back to what I was talking about. You need to be waiting for you to get a pick, and then you guys can like walk through mid, reclaim vision in the river. This new map makes it really, really hard to play from behind, especially against a Fed Assassin, because you are basically relegated to like sitting under your turrets, or maybe even behind your turrets, because you can't ever claim vision of your jungle. So walking like up here is absolutely out of the question. And yeah, you're just waiting for the mistake. Hopefully they make another mistake. I mean, that was kind of a mistake too. Where's our Q here? Oh, we are, I guess we were fishing for Caitlyn with that? And that's unfortunate. If we had Q for a Mumu there too. Okay, what I'll say is that if you're queuing just to hit the minion, that's pretty bad. That's a very like low value usage of your Q. But if you were fishing for Caitlyn there, I'm okay with it. Yep. We're contributing only as much as we can. We're kind of tethering behind the Amumu, which we pretty much have to. Yeah, I mean, this is just like... I don't want to say this is like an unlucky game that you couldn't have won, because you for sure could have won it. Like, there's been like 2 or 3 scenarios where it's like, if you had played it slightly differently, the game would look totally different. But at this point, we are just like on actual bleeding out mode. So it's a little on the uncoachable side, unless like you are the one that is overextending. So it's like, so far it's just been your teammates overextending, and you're playing like relatively smart and for the position that you're in. Okay, we're trying to just keep it off our turret. We're trying to keep a tier 3 alive. Okay, we're coming to this fight. Easy Q, easy combo. There we go. Dropping the ignite. Nice, nice. Honestly, that was probably going to be the absolute best fight you could have taken. You're fighting in a choke. You're fighting in this area right here, which is relatively good for your team, and their Fizz is not there. So I would be looking to do like a Q flash on the Caitlyn, just because we know the biggest threat to us is not there. He is in mid lane. So, or like spam pinging Caitlyn for Malzahar to flash or to alter something, like forcing something here, because this was the absolute best potential turning point you're going to find. Nice. All right, so let's because we just saw one more mechanical thing that we could be doing differently here, and it's not necessarily purely mechanical. Think about the intent, right? Think about the intent of this next E that you throw. Now, where do you think from Fizz's perspective for a moment here. Where is Fizz wanting to go? He's not wanting to go in, right? He's not wanting to stand here. He's wanting to go out. So if you throw this E further away, it gives him less areas. It gives him like much less maneuverability and basically no options. So just be thinking about that. I've caught you a couple times this game where it's just like we're throwing Qs that won't really result in anything. Best case scenario, stuff like that. And then, you know, when you waste your Q on that kind of stuff, then or your E or your W or your mana, then you don't have it when you need it for something that does have like an actual game-changing intention. All right, so I'm going to let the rest of this game play out and kind of just go over some of the concepts that we have discussed today. I definitely think the biggest thing you need to be looking at is intention when using abilities, intention when positioning, intention when thinking about where to go in, like to which lane and stuff like that. Intentions of which fights you're taking. Think about like the absolute best case scenario and worst case scenario. Weigh them against each other. And I'm not saying don't ever go for something unless it only has best case scenarios. Like League of Legends is a game of calculated risks, right? But it doesn't seem like you're taking a lot of risks that are even in your favor. Now, that being said, this was 100% a game that was not unwinnable, but it was pretty heavily weighted against you. But these are the absolute best games to learn from, because if you truly hold yourself accountable and heavily critique yourself or get a coach to critique you, these are the types of games that like you really get into the nitty gritty and be like, man, this game sucked. Like my jungler was outclassed, my ADC did this and that. But like, when it comes down to it, like I could have played this part better, or I could have brought different spells or different rune page, or, played this portion better, or mechanically better here, or decision making better here. When you really, really hold yourself to the flames, like grill yourself in games that you were probably going to lose anyways, that's when you take those criticism of yourself and apply them to the games that are like 50-50. And that's what's going to make the difference between like very, very close games. You know what I mean? Sorry if that last little monologue didn't make sense, but basically what I'm saying is even when games are really, really hard and stacked against you, you need to be hypercritical of yourself and find what you could be doing better. Just those little pockets of opportunity because that's going to make the difference in closer games. So guys, that's going to be, it's going to wrap up the first coaching session of 2022. Excuse me, I got to sneeze. Sorry. Bless me. But yeah. GQPD, sorry. If you have any questions at all, you absolutely know where to find me. You can email me, you can Discord me, you can reach out to me on Twitch, on Twitter, whatever, if you have any questions at all. But anyone else that watches on YouTube, I hope you guys learned something from it. I know this is a rough game, but those are the best ones to learn from sometimes. So guys, let me know any questions you have down in the comments, and I will get to as many as I can. Best of luck climbing out there in Season 12. Wishing you guys all the best of luck. Take it easy, boys. Peace.